What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl wanted to do a video where I shop my stash to create my perfect Tinkerbell palette. This is inspired by the palette that ColourPop created, except I'm trying my hardest not to support ColourPop for various reasons, and so because of that I am creating this palette. So yeah, this is a look that I created with the palette. First I'll show you guys swatches of the palette, and then we will go into this eye look. So if you're interested, just keep watching. Alrighty guys, so for today's video I have been lusting, crusting, and all type of busting over this palette right here. This is the ColourPop Tinkerbell collection, and I knew that I had a problem with the two like peachy tones or kind of pinky tones that they had in this palette. I didn't understand why they were so similar. And for me, in my makeup journey, I'm really focusing on not bringing in any collections or any palettes or whatever have you that I don't like every single color, every single formulation in the palette or whatever have you, and just it's not my perfect, you know. Granted, there's always something that I would willingly change, like maybe if I didn't like the formula and I didn't know before I purchased, but I'm just trying my best to really curb the amount of things that I bring into my collection. And so in doing that, I'm going to create my perfect Tinkerbell palette. So let's just get into it. This is the palette. It is a 9-pan palette. As you can see, I took a few liberties on the different colors. For example, this baby right here in the original palette is actually a bronze, and then these two were actually, from what I can tell, lighter. They were more like this tone for both of these shades. And I think something different might have been in these shimmers as well. But either way, I actually really like this color scheme. I think it is more interesting and unique, and yeah, I'm just more interested in this. Anyways, what I'm gonna do is take the time to go ahead and swatch this palette for you guys so that you guys can see what's going on. And I'm actually gonna be so that's it, and then later on I'm going to do a look as I always do. So yeah, let's just get into it. I'm going to start up here, go row by row by row. I will of course tell you guys the names of each shadow as long as it actually says it on the back. And first we're starting with Sydney Grace's Grace is literally the name of the shadow, and it's a nice like salmon pinky shade. I'm just gonna build her up just so that you guys can really see. It really blends in with my skin, but in a really nice way. It adds a slight tint, so this could be a really nice like all over the eye look if you don't want to be very impactful with your makeup, or just a really good transition shade. Next, I know this is Touch of Glam, and this is Dragon's Breath. I was a huge fan of Touch of Glam. I still am, but I'm just not buying single shadows as much as I was before. Really, really pretty shade, like pink. Once again, it blends into my skin in a nice way. I'm actually put on my ring light so that hopefully you guys can see the reflects and stuff, because we're getting a little bit later in the day. So really, really pretty shade. I'm really enjoying it. Then next, I think this is a ColourPop shadow. It is, and this is called Making Moves. Really, really pretty salmon shade as well, but clearly has a lot more orange, a lot more depth, and so you can really build your crease between the two different creamy matte shadows. I want to make sure you guys can see what's going on. Give me 1 second. Hope that's focus is better. I apologize, I can't get a closer zoom in. My camera is currently stuck. Well, my lens is currently stuck. I'm working on getting it fixed though. Okay, so then next we have another Touch of Glam, and this is Island Breeze. I remember using this shadow a lot in my build your own palettes. I really like this shade. I really like Touch of Glam, period. Just haven't had the need to use them lately, so that's why I really haven't. Then we have another shimmer, and this is Looxi Moolah. I honestly don't remember what collection this was in, but this is a lot more satin than my more metallic-y Looxi one. I really am enjoying the colors and the texture differentiations though. Next is Touch of Glam's Envious. It's the dark shade right there. Really nice depth that this is bringing for the shimmer shades, but also it's another texture. This is a smoother one compared to the other texture, but I just like how they all come together. Then we're rounding out in that last row, and this is Coastal Scents' Vibrant Lime Green. So I don't have much left of Coastal Scents, honestly, mainly because a lot of the shadows just got a lot of hard pan, or I just didn't particularly like the formulation, but I do like the formulation of this one. And as you can see, it's a really, really nice bright green. And that was one of my favorite shades that I actually saw in the original Tinkerbell. So I really wanted to emphasize that one based on what I actually have. So I just swatched Looxi's Hustle, and as you can see, this doesn't necessarily bring more texture. It's just a nice purple that once again kind of blends in with my skin tone, but there are a variety of glittery blues in there, which I think is a really nice contrast and can blend in the purples that I probably use, the peachy tones, and then also the blue. So I really liked that. And then the last shadow that I have here is from Sydney Grace again, and it is in the shade Zane. This is the deepest shade, so for lack of a better word, it's going to be my deepener of all of my looks really. And because there's not that many mattes, there's only 4 mattes in this palette, but still I think it'll be really interesting to try and use this because this is a navy blue, but there is some purple in there, as you can see. So it'll really help to bring out some of those purple tones and to really emphasize and make some interesting coloring with these 2 peachy orangey tones here. And I'll be really intrigued to see that green and that purple. Oh, I just very, very excited about this. So once again, this is my palette that I created, the swatches and the palette in the Z palette. I will have all of the names, and if the shadows are available, I will link them down below. And now that we're done with the swatching, let's get into the tutorial. Alrighty guys, so I'm really excited to show you guys the tutorial to go along with this palette. I'm just going to point to the shades, and then on the screen it will actually have the name and the brand for you all, and all of the eyeshadows will also be linked down below if they're still available. So first I'm going to go into this peachier of the 2 kind of mid-tone pinky shades, and I'm just going to really apply this very liberally into my transition area. I don't mind if shades pretty much go to my eyebrow, but if you do, of course, just start your shade lower and then blend up higher so that it kind of more seamlessly goes to your eyebrow area. But like I said, I don't really care. I don't really highlight under my brow arch really anymore. I do on occasion, but mainly I really just don't have the time nor the care. Oh, I forgot to bring my mirror up higher so I'm not looking down so badly. Okay, hopefully that's better for you guys. Okay, anyways, so really take the time to liberally apply this all in this area. This is also going to help for your second shade, as long as this shade is really covering up a majority of your primer. So yeah, and this is a BH Cosmetics brush, really old. It's from their marble set, and it's the number 7 in case you're wondering. It's just a really nice fluffy crease brush. Then I'm gonna go into my E9 from ColourPop, and I'm gonna go into like the navy blue shade, and this is going to be my actual crease color. Take the time to really pack it out in your outer V area, and then slowly blend her to the inner corner and then also up. This is going to be the shade where you spend the most amount of attention in this whole look. Naturally this eye just kind of curved out. It's not the best, but you know, it just naturally curved out. So I'm going to try and remember to do that on this eye as well. That's not a typical shape that I do with my eyeshadow, but you know, it happens. And with this being a blue and kind of a pinky shade, it kind of comes together and makes kind of like a blurple situation, which I am not mad at. You guys know purple was one of the very first shades that I actually ever put on my eyes. And so I'm forever in love with purples. Like I said, take the time to make sure that everything is blended. Feel free to go back and forth between the two brushes. And then what I'm going to do is just reapply that peachy tone on my lower crease to really blend out that whole lower crease. And that's going to be the main color that is in the inner corner of my lower lash line, but you will see I will add a little something something too. But just make sure that that whole thing is connected. That's a personal preference for me, is that it's always connected. Always. Lower lash line and upper lash line always connected, and just use that bigger shade or that bigger brush and that lighter shade to kind of clean up any mistakes that you may make bringing that darker shade out too far or whatever have you. So that's pretty much the crease. You will see at the end, after I put my lid shade, I may come back in with this brush, but it just kind of depends on the placement. So then what I'm going to do is take a flat brush. This happens to be the ECM W21, and I'm going to go into this darker green metallic. It's a really, really pretty shade and super. So I'm just going to take the time to really apply this all over my lid. Once again, just like I've been lately, I'm not going to make it super structured. I am just going to kind of lightly blend with the tip of this brush, just so that it's kind of flowing a little bit. Okay. And so now what I'm going to do is go back in with that E9 and that darker blurple shade and just make sure, one, to connect everything, but I also kind of like it if it's just slightly over on this part, just slightly. And if you don't add too much, then you won't really have to overly blend, if you feel me. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is take that same side that I had the green shimmer and just put that at the beginning of my lower lash line. Okay, and then I'm going to flip over to the clean side and go to the really, really pretty purpley pink shimmer up top, and that is going to be my inner corner. Be careful if you do just flip over your brush to make sure that none of the darker shade is on the tip of the brush, or you will get some of that darker shade in your actual inner corner and not just the lighter shade that you wanted. I also do slightly go on the beginning of my lid and slightly on the bottom, just to kind of blend everything together. So that's pretty much the eyeshadow look. Really simple, but really, really pretty. I'm really liking this. I do use two different liners today. I use my Givenchy Turquoise Waterproof, and then I also use my One Size Dark. This goes on my upper waterline, and this goes on my lower. So I'm going to do that and throw on my mascara, finish up my lips, and then I'll come to show you guys my finished look. Alrighty guys, so this is the finished look. So yeah, like I said, this is the finished look. I really, really like this look. And like, you know, when you can feel that you really like a look and you want to do something. I don't even like going outside unless it's to work or something else, but I really am, I'm feeling it. Okay, I am feeling it. The sun is playing me. It just left because I guess I was doing a little bit too much. So yeah, anyways, all of the eyeshadows, like I said, will be listed down below. If you're curious with the other stuff, I have on my Danessa Myricks Balm bronzer. I have on my e.l.f. powder bronzer on top of that. I used both cheek products from my Natasha Denona Glam palette. The highlighter is just at the top of the highlighter. On the base highlighter that I used is the Dior one that's in my Project Pan. What else? My lips is a concoction. So I have my Chestnut MAC lip liner. I have my consensual MAC lipstick, and then I put a little bit of my Melt Golden in the middle just to lighten up that shade just a wee bit. I think that's the oh, and then brows, if you're curious, I actually use my Sydney Grace Tim Talia's palette because I no longer have any brow products pretty much, so I just use that dark brown and then the little bit of the brow product that I actually have left in the front of my brows. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Anything else I will have down below. I new foundation, but it'll be down below, just check it out. But yeah, overall I'm really liking the look that I was able to create just with this palette. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun messing with these colors and I'll save money. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video showing you guys once again to shop your collection, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.